also can't follow
I
them now
know.
because it's like, then there's going to be a big fuss of like, you weren't following me already?
Alright, so we finally got some action with an Aswell versus 2B. I'm trying to figure out if I've seen this before.
I certainly haven't seen these two players play against each other before. YinCrescent, I've definitely known him and have played against him in tournament before COVID times. AR15, I believe, is somebody who is a recent convert from PlayStation to PC, and he plays a very nutty Aswell. You can kind of tell because the fact that he woke up with sword toss, which was a pretty crazy thing overall. Immediate into 1A after the clash, getting his first round.
Definitely. I have seen AR in action, and I think nutty Aswell is an appropriate term, but I have not, at least I have not commentated YinCrescent. I know he is a prominent 2B player, but I have not had a chance to really see his gameplay alongside some of the other common 2Bs we've seen recently, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of Yin kind of took a dip during COVID times. He doesn't really compete in online tournaments all that much. So he... Why did I whiff?
Ooh, what was that? That should have hit.
Did I miss something? Why did that not work?
It just
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it looked like aerially, like he just kind of went higher than her hitbox in the air. That was weird.
Maybe he has to delay those? I didn't know that there was some sort of, like, odd way that you had to make that kind of thing work. Oh, I don't like that side step. He kind of put himself in the ring out position, but it didn't matter. Oh, man, that whiff too for some reason.
Yeah, we are definitely getting some janky stuff here, but it looks like AR just needs one more hit. And he's going for it, and there it goes.
If I was Yin, I was going to try to just effectively say, like, if I can make him use the guard crush somehow to get this round, then that would have been a win in my book. He's got 2 bars. He's going to have to deal with another soul charge by AR15, probably just in this round, let alone in the next round. Oh, tries to go for the optimal punish. He still kind of gets it.
I just love that read coming out of Yin. He just knew he was going to do something vertically and just sidestepped it. But here we go, 2B sequence while she's in soul charge. And this is going to be a lot to deal with. Pressure's going to keep going, and he's going to soul charge again. He wants to keep AR right here.
Did he try to, like, do a soul attack? That wasn't a soul charge activation. I mean, AR-15 still, like, it was a pretty big commitment to go with all 2 bars. Just run up reversal edge, Jesus Christ. So now immediately the meter advantage / disadvantage has completely been nullified. It's going to be soul charge versus soul charge. Soul caliber. Oh man, if only he had held it for just a little bit longer. I don't think he gets the wall here. Well, okay, improvised combos.
And here goes the lethal hit. Let's see, is this gonna go out? No.
I can't tell. No, it goes the other way, okay. Man, he was able to completely nullify AR-15's entire soul charge. Yeah, he couldn't get out of there, so YinCrescent is able to pick up the first game. It really looked rocky for him at certain times. He had to spend double soul charge just to get into the last round, but that run-up reversal edge, coupled with his complete nullification of AR-15's initial soul charge, were very big boons that ended up giving him the game.
Yeah, and I mean, those wonky moments that we saw too, I mean, YinCrescent was able to still take it, but a couple of sections that almost cost him. I mean, what if he had dropped those combos? Oh, nice duck.
God, that dropped again too. I don't know, these don't entirely look like problems of his. These look like problems of just Soul Calibur 6 being wonky. I guess I don't know 2B all that well, but oh, fantastic lean in to get that ring out. He did that little slight backstep to make AR-15 think that it was time to press a small button. It was a pretty solid bait. Ooh, gets a solid hit on AR-15, trying to sidestep. Aswell sidestep, one of the worst. He's get the grab, so he's in Exion effectively, so now he's in Axe. It's always important to remember that with regards to Aswell, the way that you're supposed to play against Aswell greatly alters whenever he has a different weapon. If he's in Axe, he's not really going to have the strongest stuff with regards to block punishment. Man, another fantastic hit there.
Alright, into round 3 we go. Decides to open up with the soul charge immediately.
Yeah, a pretty common tactic from AR-15, and I think Aswell's overall, because the soul attack is very, very strong. You see him going for, like, the soul caliber, but really the reason why you use the Soul Calibur Soul Attack is simply to get the Soul Charge activation, the Soul Attack for Soul Edge, which happens after that, and that's gonna not do it, but huge amount of damage there. There's that Soul Edge, yep. But he had to spend both bars to try and get this game. A C. Ooh.
What? YinCrescent.
That is some
love
timing.
it.
That is
I
some
love
timing.
that. I mean, what a call out. I mean, damn. The balls on this guy to just hit
I mean, it was
right
clear,
then and there.
It was clear that he was looking for it, and that's definitely the main way people try to get in those situations. But even with a relatively large CE activation range like 2B's Super has, still not the easiest thing in the world to pull off like that. So that was very, a very solid read coupled with fantastic execution.
It's definitely a risk as he got rings out. It's definitely a risk. So I really like that ending from YinCrescent. I want to be like him when I grow up.
God, I miss being able to say that, but now everybody assumes that I'm grown up, and it doesn't work. AR15 trying to go for these massively unsafe things. I mean, I can't think of anything in the game that's more unsafe than the non-soul charge version of that jump up into fist down onto the ground. I think it might be like the most unsafe thing in the game.
And I mean, we are just seeing solid offense and defense coming out of YinCrescent, and I just really like how he's playing this match. Really, he's really got to change something up here.
Oh, he ends up catching the sidestep with the axe low. But that was very scary there for a second. He ended up doing like the jump over the body into the back turn A+B, but because there was that weird hitbox issue, had Yin just woken up with like a 3B, he might have gotten wrung out there.
Oh, this sequence here was a little bit nutty as well.
AR15 in the dominate. Ooh, uses the invul frames. Does he get a ring out?
Oh, wakes
so
up
close.
right into it. Wakes up.
Oh, that
What is going on?
She disappeared from the screen. I've never seen that happen before. This is the third game. Untuck into the. Oh man, the 2-2A is a high.
Yin.
So he knows
Yin
to get out of
is
there.
just like, he is on it right now. This is such good play coming from him. He's just gonna need one more hit to close this out, and he gets it.
I mean, do I give Yin the credit for being able to get away from that Soul Charge CE? I mean, he's pulled off a lot of cool stuff already in this set, but that kind of blows my mind that he had realized that the Soul Charge CE was going to be coming out and then tries to make himself invulnerable with the glow. I mean, maybe he was that prepared, but Jesus Christ. Dude, every
nice
time.
Duck. Again, his timing is just on point right now. AR is going to have to figure something out. I don't know if it's like a timing thing or I don't know.
I mean, he just has to
really.
Yeah, he just has to not use these highs. Like every time he tries to do something that's like a get-in tool that involves a high, I mean, the amount of damage Yin is getting off of every single one of these ducks is just so high. But okay, that being said, AR15 is keeping it competitive. It's only 2-1. These are crazy situations that have happened so far. This is already, I'm gonna say, at least 3 or 4 memes worth of content just in these 3 games alone. So I can only imagine what's gonna happen as the first 10 unfolds.
Yeah, 2B. I mean, and I say this all the time. No matter who plays 2B, 2B is going to find a way to 2B a situation, and we're certainly seeing that in this matchup. But AR is definitely not giving up as he gets GI'd. Nice duck.
Man, there's so many of these situations where things are just like not working on as well. That are just like these solid opportunities for combos that just seem to be dropping, and I can't really tell why. A good read from AR15, knowing that the Aswell player is in Axe, so he's going to be fully prepared to try and beat out anything with an axe low.
And I also like YinCrescent's approach too. Like he's going in, he's not immediately pressing buttons. He's really pacing himself in terms of the distance between him and AR. So I really enjoy that aspect of it too. And I think that's why AR was kind of like having a hard time keeping up at the beginning of this, because he was just taking such big risks. But I think now maybe he's finding his pace.
Sorry, that was a hell of a whip punish to go into the Cyclone in that situation. One thing that kind of assumed was going to happen in this set based on the characters that are being played, that I'm not necessarily sure has continued to go, is just the interactions from both of these players have characters that have very uninteractive soul charges. Like, they kind of just run the gambit of doing whatever they want. So, like, how do soul charges that don't allow the other person to play the game interact when both of them are happening at the same time? So I'm curious to see how much we're going to see of something like that. Is he end up getting a ring on here? No. Okay.
Oh, no.
So he decides to spend the soul charge.
Yeah, he's really going to take a risk here, and...
It's important to note, I think every single time Yin has used a soul charge activation in that situation, AR15 has countered with his own soul attack. It happened both times in those last 2 rounds, so it's definitely something for Yin to pick up on. Nice punish.
All right. Yeah, nice swift punish coming out of Yin.
Almost a great punish. Wow, he was able to sidestep that thing. I'm never able to sidestep that. That's unfair. Cheating. How dare you?
How dare you do something I'm not able to do? And AR taking this last round here, tying up the sets 2-2. I mean,
very swingy games. Yeah. I mean, Aswell's a very difficult character to keep in check the whole time. Looks like he wants to go for something. Well, he basically gets the same kind of stage. It's not going to have any walls, but you're not really going to get any additional possibilities for ring outs on such a large stage like this. I think even like that start of the round 2B lethal hit that she can end up getting, which typically can just go throughout the entire stage. I'm not even sure that amount of ring carry is going to be enough for a stage as large as this, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, losing the close ring out potential definitely affects both characters. So, but again, both characters can be incredibly aggressive. So the match can end up on the ring side at any moment.
That's true. I have to say, there's been like 2 different times already now that I've seen YinCrescent block Aswell's sword AB, and his punish has been in AA. Now, don't get me wrong, the AA block punish is good, just on paper from 2B, but that is a massively unsafe thing, and I think he really needs to amp up his block punishment for that situation specifically. Seems like the one thing so far that I haven't really been impressed by Yin's understanding of how to play against this character. Everything else has been stellar.
Yeah, and speaking of, he's already blinking red in terms of his gauge. That is not a good thing for him this early in the set.
He tried to go for a CE, but I think that was only because of the stage, like the camera switch. He tried to go for a soul charge, but it ended up getting stuck. So now he frankly really needs this round. If he ends up losing this, okay. So I was going to say, being a meter down plus red guard gauge, that was going to be a big deal had he lost that.
Yeah, he really needed that round, as you said, and AR immediately opening up with the soul attack. And again, it just, the way he's playing this, it's almost like Yin just cannot, compared to the beginning of the set, when these two were playing, he just can't get a read on what he's doing as he gets knocked out of the ring. And that is exactly what I was saying. Even though this is such a large stage, the match can end up ringside at any moment, particularly with 2B's AG stance. You know, that pushes the characters definitely to the edge. And YinCrescent really turning up the offense here, and 7 golden letters.
I mean,
perfect.
Once again, as you see, every time we see like a soul charge in this situation, they end up being very uninteractive. But the thing is, what I was going to say is that Yin now has to deal with a meter disadvantage, but he was able to hit AR15 out of his soul charge. So now we're back to a completely even amount of soul charge. Oh, did he get it? Did he get it? The soul attack wins. That's a huge deal. This has been the meter interactions between these characters has been so insane. That Axlo block punish was terrible. Oh, yeah. No.
So much is happening. It's just like you were saying, you know, he possibly could have ended that match if he had punished that Axlo correctly.
Oh, no. He has to
and now he's blinking red.
Oh, my God.
Oh, club.
He was able to stay in a good enough range in front of his opponent to where he didn't just have to block that axe projectile. I was able to... God, I'm already sweating. It's only been 5 games. This is a first to 10. Yeah, these guys, like, they really, with all due respect to them, they really screw up in some very pivotal moments, but they also are able to set up these situations where they so heavily commit to some spots that it makes everything look really flashy and really crazy that I'm not surprised that they're screwing some things up, just because I'm not sure I'd be able to handle, like, these situations as well as they're handling them. Oh no. Oh,
yeah, and we're seeing the mini adjustments too between each set, but, you know, like I said, super competitive. Oh,
so
no.
that's the punish that he was going for before, which is why that Axlo punish from the last round was so bad. So I guess maybe it's even on Parsec, it's a little bit too tight of timing for him to figure. Nice sidestep.
Yeah, it's the same thing with certain Wild Rising moves. Sometimes the timing can be off online, but damn, that really cost him that match there.
Okay, does he decide to spend the soul charge and try to rob AR15 of this round? He's got a lot of work to do. 2B can do it. A run of GI, I doubt that's what he wanted, and unfortunately that was enough. Yeah, he did not want that run of GI. That was almost assuredly a buffering issue. So does he try to win this round without using his meter? He's got so much work to do, and he can't necessarily just allow AR15 the meter advantage. It's such a big part of both of these characters.
Yeah, I was fully expecting him to soul charge because he's really got to get something going here, and he's going to need soul charge to do it, as he's doing right now. Boom, finally puts a round on the board.
It's okay. I mean, AR15 is going to have at least 2 bars of meter by the end of this game, assuming he loses just this round. So Yin is going to have to deal a little bit better with weathering the storm of AR15. Just wake up swords. Uses the soul edge. So now, how do you deal with the uninteractivity of Aswell Soul Charge? How do you weather the storm? Oh, terrible combo! Alright, that is massively unsafe. Okay, decides to go for the CE. I kind of actually don't like that, because you weren't in yellow, so it's going to do, like, okay damage, but...
Yeah, it's going to be a fight to really bring this down to the end. I agree. I don't know if the CE was the best part, but this lethal hit is going to help. But he's got to keep going with the pressure. Yeah,
very close. Trying to win it. Oh, such brilliance! Ends up taking the next game.
No.
We're going back and forth. Is this one gonna go the distance?
I wonder what YinCrescent could have done there, because he decided to stay in angular stance and do another move.
Yeah, I feel like
that move that Aswell to just completely ignore.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was anything he could do in that situation. I think it was a little bit of a commitment, and I think he just forgot what stance AR15 was in. And yeah, he decided to stay in that stance, and I'm not sure there was anything within that stance that could have gotten him out. Ooh, the 1As. And you have to worry about that 2-2B lethal hit. That could potentially kill you. Nice jump.
Nice tech jump.
Oh no, an AA punish. You could have gotten like a 3B there. Yeah, you really have to add up these punishes. Trying to get in the air to get away from the situation. Working, sort of. Okay, beats the Cyclone.
Yeah, the punishing situation is definitely hurting YinCrescent. There's too many times where he could have gotten way more damage on the board and he just wasn't able to do so. And you have to do that against Aswell. Like, those opportunities you get, you gotta take them. Particularly if you're playing against AR. Like, the way he's playing Aswell, you know, you gotta get in there and get your damage when you can.
It's so high risk, high reward in so much of what AR15 is doing. And if you get rid of the block punishments, that means that it's small risk, high reward. And that's no good if you're the person playing against it. Yin ended up spending his entire... Wow, that's so much damage! I wasn't aware that it was so much damage if she effectively parries 2 things, but ends up spending the soul charge and not really getting anything out of it, so AR-15's gonna have that additional bar. God, every single round that AR-15 has the ability to start with a soul attack, that's what he's doing. Nice staying on the ground, but not enough.
I mean, YinCrescent, I'll give him that. The way he's been using the parries in this match has been working out for him.
Yeah. He's calling out so many of these such brilliances, and he is punishing those pretty hard, so I very much respect that. It's just that sometimes I feel like he either botches a punish where he only gets something that's small, or he goes for too heavy of a punish, like too highly committal, and then he just doesn't have the time for it, either because it's the lag on parsec is still too much for him, or one thing or another. Doesn't end up ducking that second high because he just wasn't expecting him to fully commit to the string.
Alright, he's gonna pop Soul Charge here. He does have another bar, but okay, what's the punish? Alright.
Yeah, 3B punish. I assume that's for 3B. But effectively like a 3B. Stole a critical edge! That's a big deal! Now, as long as you're able to finish this round without spending your additional bar, you'll be at an even keel in the next round. But he decides to... I think he could have gotten a back grab out of that situation and could have killed on its own. So, I don't know
about that one.
I mean, I appreciate it, trying to get to the last round, but you had so much life, and now you're definitely going in, and you know he's going to start with a soul attack. I bet all my money he starts with a soul attack. Aha! Carbon Clive, you now owe me all of your money.
There's not much to give. So
oh, well. When all we have is nothing, there's a lot to go around, right?
Well, let's see. This is potentially... Well, this is the last round of this set. And already YinCrescent's back is against... I don't know how he's going to come back from this.
Yeah, that Soul Charge was just enough to effectively... AR15 never had to worry about losing the initiative. Kind of like what I was talking about. Like, he spent the bar at the very beginning, just literally run up and soul attack, and yeah, Yin was never able to get back. The meter game in this set could not be more important. So these CE punishes, while great, I don't know. They're not necessarily the strongest thing in the world. This is this additional thing that you gotta be worried about.
Alright, and we're seeing YinCrescent pull out some moves he wasn't using before, so perhaps he's trying to make some kind of calculated adjustment here, doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's one of the nice things about it's one of the nice things about a first to 10 is that you have the ability to pull out different things later on in a set and potentially screw up a little bit of the understanding of your opponent. Some of the timings and some of the punishes, especially when Yin is going to be on the ground, have been a lot stronger than before, so I appreciate that too.
Alright, just having some poke battles here.
Which is a huge win for Yin, the fact that AR15's entire Soul Charge went by with no reward basically at all. Again, it's going to be all a matter of like how much damage either of these characters can get with their meter. Fantastic.
Oh, nice duck!
He still has those duck punishes up. Oh, okay. He kind of went... He tried to go for something really big, and he ended up only getting like a wall rising A. Okay, the combo actually works this time, so that's good. That's not going to kill. Scales pretty heavily.
Alright, he's just going to need one more sequence here to take it.
Ooh, such brilliance. AR15 almost has a bar again, too. No! Oh, you read it! You read the thing and you didn't get it. Oh my god. Oh, okay, he ends up getting it. That was still a pretty big deal, though. Oh, actually, I guess it's not, because Yin... So, effectively, with that exchange, AR15 got effectively like a bonus bar from that reversal edge exchange, but then he effectively was already going to get the bonus bar from being down 2 rounds. So, it kind of like overlaps, so I guess it's not really that big of a deal. But now you're going to have to weather all of these storms from all of these Aswell Soul Charges. AR15's going to have to come up with something.
Yeah, and he's not letting go of the pressure. He's consistently pushing buttons, which is what you want to do with Aswell, particularly if your opponent is being this defensive right now, and I don't know what he can do. Okay, alright.
Oh, okay. Yin really went for like a gigantic read in that situation, which could have been really great, but one thing I wanted to mention is that AR15 really has to realize that when he doesn't have the initiative anymore, virtually every time he goes for such brilliance, YinCrescent is punishing him very hard. And so, if he keeps going for that, it might spell his downfall for the set overall.
And already, look how far AR has carried this right now.
Oh, okay. But okay, AR15 has no meter now. He has a red guard gauge, but it's possible that Yin is going to be able to effectively do what AR15 did last round and just run the gambit of huge amounts of uninteractivity. Yeah, and just effectively just jamming moves, jamming mix-ups. But AR15 does not care. Didn't really get anything out of that Soul Charge. Gets a nice parry there. Equal meter. Oh no. That's going to be huge. And goes for the CE. Okay, but this isn't going to kill. Yin has the ability to Soul Charge back and potentially try to do what he was doing before.
would just hit CE.
Or he just doesn't the CE.
It went for it.
Again, that's not going to kill, but he is in yellow life, so it's going to do a solid chunk here. Okay, what do we do?
One more sequence. Both have no meter.
Break attack, break attack. Oh, catches the axe low. A little bit ambitious on that part. Trading taunts. Clearly, there's a certain level of attitude going on in this set so far.
Yeah, and I mean, that sequence where... And again, we opened this set by saying AR plays the nutty as well. I mean, just going for axe low during an AG sequence, I would never think I'd see something like that.
Yeah, it looks like at that point he was looking for like a tip version of the axe low, but yeah, Yin was in yellow life. I don't think he was low enough to where that would kill. And then you're without a weapon and you didn't even get a knockdown, so I don't know so much. It's a nice reversal edge. Well, okay. If he had kept it going, then it would have been a good reversal edge. But reversal edge overall, I think, is still a relatively solid answer to aggression shift pressure. It doesn't answer everything, but it's at least something that you can kind of throw at your 2B opponent to assume they know how to get away from it. So much
again, I mean, he's just keeping YinCrescent in place.
Yeah,
and he's been really good at doing that, particularly when Yin's back is against the ring edge. He just wants to keep him in place, but this is definitely going to knock out.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very odd. There have been so many odd interactions with regards to soul attacks and soul charges. Initially, I thought that AR15 soul attack was going to get smushed by the soul charge activation that Yin had, but it did not end up being that way. What?
Ooh,
okay.
What
a bait. What a solid bait question mark from AR15 to get away from that situation. Ooh, tries to go for
I noticed is when AR does the muscle buster, when he lands that, well, the axe low, duh.
Yeah.
When he lands the axe low, YinCrescent isn't teching backwards. He's just getting up right in place, which is weird because I usually see people just tech backward, including myself. I usually just tech to get, create some space. But okay, this is definitely going to kill. I mean, his usage of CE, man, so
I'm
good.
trying to think. So in that situation, that was like the slide kick into stances, and I'm trying to think, is there a situation, I guess if AR15 had done 4K to try and like effectively teleport back, then you would have been far away enough to where the CE wouldn't have caught. So I guess Yin was betting that there's no way that AR15 is going to take a defensive option in this situation, which, considering how the set has been going on so far, is a perfectly fine choice to make. But he ends up getting wrung out here, and I gotta say, AR15 should frankly really spend a lot more time in Axe, because when he's in Axe, he's getting so much stuff going on. Like, it's so huge. Okay, here we go. Yet again. Soul Charge versus Soul Charge.
Versus Soul Charge.
This is the name of the game. Who's going to get something, if anything? Currently, nobody. Gets a nice roll. Doesn't get a punish, though. Oh, touches the GI. It's going to have to do with this.
Not looking good for YinCrescent with this gauge blinking red.
Oh, man, he needs those ducks. Okay, he could potentially get a cheesy ring out here. Tries to punish with the 9A, but it's too slow. People call it an online low for a reason. Ooh. Okay, AR15 still able to catch it, but boy, that could have been real bad. Nobody has been able to get away from this back and forth so far. It's just been a hot potato as AR15 gets half the game wins that he needs. 5-4 now.
Ooh, what a trade there.
Man, they're killing each other here.
Yeah, these two characters are just breaking the system today. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Combos aren't necessarily working.
There we go. We finally got up backwards, and whatever AR tried to do completely whipped. That's what you have to do. Like, if you tech backwards, there's nothing Aswell can necessarily, like, guarantee hit you with. So I really like that he did that.
I noticed that the wall rising 3A is not really being ducked. It's a non-jailing high, and Yin is not necessarily ducking that, but he is at least trying to duck the second hit of 6AA, which frankly, AR15, if what he wants to do is try and use those moves, he's just doing it from so far away to where he's giving Yin a handful of situations where he can whip punish instead of actually creating pressure. So I think he needs to stop overextending, and then he would be a lot better.
Yeah, and here we go again. Every time, just like he said, when he's in Axe, I feel like Yin just kind of gets too defensive. All right, here comes the slow charge coming out of AR.
He gets really defensive, and then yeah, he's not able to block correctly, so it ends up being for nothing.
Exactly, and that's how he ended up with that gauge being red.
Yeah,
just playing too defensive. I feel like if he's playing 2B, you know what I mean? Like both of these characters can be nutty, you know, but I think he needs to match AR with the nuttiness sometimes, because he can do it. I've seen him during these sets interrupt him and just stop his offense, and that's what he needs to do.
It's so difficult to try and like pull that off. Like as the kind of player that I am, trying to feel like I could potentially out nutty AR15, I don't think I'd ever be able to pull it off, honestly.
Right, okay, right, as a player, but he's playing 2B.
Yes.
I stand firmly. 2B is in the wrong game. She can do whatever she wants. 2B is going to 2B the situation. So with that being said, I feel like he is equipped to match AR, but I think based on his play, it's clear he's like more of a calculated player. The way he's been parrying things, it's clear he just wants to play a little bit more calculated than just, you know, balls to the wall like AR is playing.
Yeah, he was able to.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh my god, he's getting so many of these jumps. He keeps trying to go into the air to kind of get rid of some of the power that AR15 has with his soul charge. Ooh, nice reversal edge. Yeah, that's going to catch. So if he's wrong about this, he straight up loses, and it looks like that is the case. AR15 not able to try and break away from this, so no break points so far. We're at 5-5. Yeah, initially I was worried that Yin had spent a CE. He like forcibly went into the air just to get his like the air CE, and didn't end up working. It looks like AR15 as well as hitboxes are a little bit too high for that to really work. So I was really worried for him initially, but he was able to pull that off there. But he's already lost over half life due to axe pressure so far.
And again, teching backwards, I really hope he capitalizes off of that, because every time AR ooh, nice enough. Yeah, every time AR does the axe low, he immediately presses buttons afterwards, and YinCrescent will be at the right distance to really capitalize off of that, but he just hasn't made the connection yet.
Meanwhile, speaking of misconnections, there are so many times where AR15 slightly doesn't have the initiative, again, like as I was saying, and will go for such brilliance, and it really seems like it is just not connecting any time that he does it. YinCrescent has punished it hard every single time. It's gotta be, oh man, he gets that sidestep there. Does that ring out? No, it doesn't, okay. Wow, he ends up getting away. Ooh, laser beams!
Whiff City!
We built Whiff City. Remember when I said I wasn't going to do that anymore? Well, that was on
so long.
That was on the NLBC stream. I do whatever the fuck I want on my own stream.
You got it. But such brilliance. What I'm missing? What is that? The move where he does like the twirl?
Yeah. That's the one. That's the weapon arts from Spear that will punish lows and mids. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. It loses to highs. It's an auto GI. And he just says such brilliance, which is why it was called that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's typically the thing that you do when you're at a small disadvantage, as well when you're in Spear.
Okay, now I know which move it is.
Yeah.
And visually, I'm like, he has so many moves that could be called such. I feel like so much.
Yeah,
so
that's the Spear auto GI.
Okay.
Doesn't end up getting the duck on that. Oh, but he ends up getting that. That
finally
is honestly the first wholeheartedly convincing match we've had, I think, since the beginning of the set. And I think this is the first time that we've had 2 games won in a row in quite some time. So, is this a turning point? I won't call it 2 yet, because it's only 1 game up, but still.
And again, he's changing the timing on when he goes into AG stands, which is really good as well. So, I mean, Yin is making the adjustments.
Still not getting that block punch on that sword AB though, and so much damage from this axe mix. Just stay in axe, AR15. Look how well it's going for you. Like, screw sword, screw spear. Trying to get that 2-2B ring out there. That's getting a good amount of damage anyway. And yeah. Second that AR15 really gets into like a groove with his axe, it seems like the game is almost instantaneously finished.
Yeah, and I just feel like that is when Yin gets really defensive, when AR is in axe mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like, perhaps he should just use Axe Mode to really do the bulk of his offense. It seems to be where he gets a bulk of his damage. But here we go, getting some flashy stuff out of YinCrescent.
It's important to note that with regards to how Axe works, it looks like AR15 is going to try and rob him from this round. Ooh, la-di-da. Is that going to kill? I think it is.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the thing that I wanted to mention again, just in terms of the bare basics of what Axe Aswell was able to do, is that if you're going to be defensive against Axe Aswell, unless you're a major luck sack, it's not going to be a good idea to do that, because overall, his ability to do things like block punish and stay at some sort of like a poking stance when he's an Axe is basically going to be null and void. That's not really what that weapon is about. That weapon is all about mix, so being defensive against it, you're really kind of playing with fire in that regard. I don't know so much about trying to pull that off. Ooh, Yin put himself at minus 14, and AR15 did not punish that, so that's important to remember.
Yeah, and speaking of defensive, I feel like AR has been holding block for so long.
Yeah, much longer than you would expect.
Yeah, well, here you go. He's finally pressing some buttons, pushing YinCrescent to really go for a soul charge here. Let's see what happens.
Trying to throw
the last
swords
hit of that.
I don't know
Just
about trying to
one
throw
more.
swords there. Okay. Soul charge v soul charge. No! AR15 going way too far out of the way to give Yin a whiff punish. I don't know so much. Sometimes he really commits to certain things at situations where he doesn't need to commit, and often I think you'll find that really, really good players will keep from doing that sort of thing to... Whoa, what's going on?
What's going on?
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh.
No.
No!
Oh.
I mean, at this point we may have to just straight up give AR15 the round. I'm not seeing anything with regards to messages. But I guess I'll take this time to thanks Daoden very much for the $10 donation. That virtually keeps us all straight and narrow with regards to, and for the resub. So, his G button unplugged from the slot. That sounds very weird. Okay, well, at the very least, then, we're going to give him a moment to fix. AR-15 sit tight, but effectively, I think that we're going to have to just straight up give AR-15 the game, because, I mean, that's kind of how it would definitely be in a typical tournament situation as well, so I'm putting it as 6-6.
Yeah, I think that's the fair outcome, just to give him the game here.
And we don't have to, Ian, if you're listening, we don't immediately have to go into the match. Just do an additional button check after this is finished. That way we can just double check that everything is good to go and we're not going to potentially have any of these issues in the future. We'll just leave it at 6-6, and then when you ready up again, just do a button check and then go back to the character select screen. I think that's the best way to handle it. 8 ways to buff Mina. Thanks very much for the $5 donation. I very much appreciate it.
Mission timer has run out.
But yeah, I mean, the way they've been playing, it's been really going back and forth, so it's definitely not over yet.
Oh no, I mean, quite literally, it is back and forth the entire time. Man, oh man, just these meter interactions have been crazy. It's just really not something that I'm expecting. But I will take this moment to effectively just talk about what I typically talk about at the beginning of each match. So thanks very much for the donations. Just in case if you guys don't know, the Parsec servers that we use for this sort of thing aren't the most expensive thing in the world, but they do cost a little bit of money, and so this will make sure that we're at least relatively solvent. So me setting up these exhibitions aren't going to be massively expensive for me every time that I end up putting one of these up. In case anybody here is new to these sorts of things, I do these virtually every Sunday starting at 2 p.m. EST. Predominantly, it's 2 first to 10 sets, just like it is today. Sometimes we'll do Iron Man competitions, where both players have to try and win a game with every single character that's on the roster. Sometimes we'll have slip-out tournaments, and we try to, just have fun with the Parsec servers that we have readily available to us while we're still stranded in COVID, which may not be happening very much pretty soon. So maybe we'll actually have offline stuff happening.
Fingers crossed. Speaking of, things do look like they're getting a tad bit better. I mean, we can't get too comfortable, but offline might be a thing this year in 2021. I was fully expecting it to be 2022 when we really get back to the swing of offline stuff, but we might get a taste of something, towards the end of this year. Who knows?
NOBC is technically open now, right? Could have sworn that I
Technically,
saw something.
yes, but I don't know if I don't know if Henry's gonna go like right back to just, NLBC like it used to be. I just don't know. I know it's open, but I'm just not sure if, because in New York, it still really is up to the owner, the business, to really decide how they want things to just immediately go back to normal. They want to go back to normal with some restrictions. I know a lot of places are still capping their capacity. So next level is open, as Saban Deus is saying. Next level is open, but I'm sure Henry is taking precautions. I don't know if we can do a normal NOBC crowd right now.
Right.
I don't know if that's the best thing to do. But I could see like an invitation, not invitational, but like gathering a small group of people to do something offline at next level. I can see that happening for sure.
So YinCrescent has mentioned that he's going to be good for the button check. So yeah, just hit rematch and just do the button check. Make sure that everything is good. And then while that is happening, I will also mention, speaking of NLBC, don't forget that these are the exact same Parsec servers that are used for NLBC. These happen every Sunday after this. Registration ends at 6. Check-in at 6:30. Tournament starts at 7. And then, you'll be able to do that same kind of stuff in a more tournament setting.
Absolutely, and tonight's commentary. What?
I think you cut out.
Oh, did I cut out?
Oh, this is what I heard.
All that energy.
This is what I heard.
That.
But just so you know, this is what I heard. And for commentary for NLBC,
damn, it wasn't meant to be. Damn.
It was like, and for commentary for this time, and then like a duck showed up and quacked and then left. And there was nothing else, and it was really funny.
Ain't that a bitch? Oh, I'm not even gonna try anymore.
Probably best, guys, to just keep with the same stage. I don't see any reason to have switched the stage just because of a button situation. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be all good to go this time around. So it's 6-6, though technically 5-6 before the button situation ended up happening. Okay, they decided to go with a different stage, which I don't have any problem with.
Ooh, now this is definitely going to change things for both players. This stage notoriously... I find that this stage is single-handedly capable of just changing the way people play.
Yeah. It looks like they're going to go back to the same stage. Something tells me...
Aw, damn it.
Yeah, but honestly, if I was Yin, I'd be like, yeah, we should definitely...
go back.
Oh, I think AR15 might not be listening to the stream, and that's the problem. If he doesn't end up... Yeah, so he's picking the random stage, so I will message him, because he is in charge of the stage select.
But yeah, that smaller stage in the woods is notoriously capable of just changing your entire gameplay style because of the space. It really makes a difference in stages in general in this game because of ring outs being so core to the game's mechanics and how you play this game. Really can change things.
So it looks like we're gonna end up playing on the stage. So unfortunately, the overall format of the set has gotten a bit spaghetti, similar to what the situation had been before the button select with regards to the gameplay. So, I mean, hey, if they're comfortable with playing it this way, that's fine. There's no money on the line or anything. It's just an exhibition set, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, it seems like certain things are not going the way that I had hoped.
Well, no ring out, but this stage is completely wild. Still a lot of space to work with.
All of that was ridiculously crazy. The hitbox that 2B had, into the fact that the extension of the string didn't fully track. AR15 then is able to get like a CE punish. I don't know so much about these CE punishes though, if you think about it, because again, very similar to like all the situations we were talking about before. These CEs are not going to be soul charges later on, and the soul charges have really been the way that both players have done a whole lot in the match.
Yeah, and then to that point, and some of the ways Yin has been using it, particularly when he goes into CE aerial, from her aerial leap, it scales so much, I question whether or not it would have been better to just do something else to save the bar. Okay, gonna get a lethal hit here from AR into launcher, goes into soul attack.
just trying to weather the storm of this Aswell Soul Charge. Okay, so he's able to weather the storm. Now he's going to be able to use his own bar to try and mitigate any additional pressure that AR-15 is going to be having. Once again, we're dealing with a red guard gauge. Aswell looking the other way, but yeah, both players overextending themselves.
Yeah, that was a big overextension from Yin. It just AR able to just sidestep the entire thing. And again, we've seen this before where he's forced to just pop both soul charges. Let's see if it pays off here.
Gonna get double wall. Still hella scaling, so he's not gonna be able to kill, but he's right on one read, but that's not gonna be the case.
And again, and the thing is, when he's overextending, it happens to be vertically. And in this game, you know, if your opponent is able to sidewalk something that you do, I mean, most of the times you're pretty open to attack with huge damage. And that happened twice during that set to YinCrescent.
Ooh, fantastic punish there. He was looking for the sword extension, which was going to, or for the spear extension, which was going to be a high, but it doesn't end up being the high. But because he had sidestepped initially, it was effectively just an option select in both situations.
Ooh, goes into RE. Let's see what he gets here. He's going to get right clash. Who's going to get the second one? No one. Oh, and this is going to be some damage here. Is he going to get the wall? I don't... Oh, he does. But doesn't get anything off of it, but walks right into the axe low.
Oh, I can't believe either person's decision-making in that situation. He tried to tech up and CE him. Meanwhile, the Aswell player attempted to do the punch into the ground, which again is a massively unsafe move. So Yin ends up losing his bar for that. Gee whiz, that was crazy.
Executing support program.
Alright, gonna get a soul charge here. And again, I just think Yin should be pressing buttons, particularly while he's in soul charge. Oh, what is going on? These
Everybody's able to get away from everything.
I know, it's just these two characters. It's just such weird interactions.
AR-15 tried to throw swords there at the end. That was crazy. that blew my mind that he felt that was the option so far. Ooh, uses the invulnerability frames yet again. Oh man, just enough range. AR-15 in that axe situation yet again. Okay, here we go. So he's sidestepping now. So there's okay. It looks like there's a handful of situations where Yin is deciding to hard sidestep to get away from like the axe mix-ups, which aren't necessarily the best thing, considering the fact that 3A exists and axe load exists. So, you know, I don't know so much. So he ends up spending the bar. Yin is going to have double bar to nothing. So it's going to be once again a matter of like how he's going to be able to use this meter to try and figure this situation out.
Yeah, I mean, meter has been the way he has gotten the most offense, and here we go into soul attack. What's it going to be? Goes for the low. And I mean, here comes this AG pressure, particularly in soul charge. It is a lot to deal with. Runs out of it. He does have another bar. He's going to want to spend, probably.
He was recovered crab, so the grab didn't have to be anything. He didn't get the wall somehow. Okay, we're in a... He tried to spend meter! Why are these people spending meter this way? It's so weird to me! But I'm pretty sure AR-15 just tried to spend meter in response to Yin spending meter for the CE. Like, the CE wasn't going to punish there. I mean, maybe I got, like, the visual, like, the animations wrong, but it really seemed like AR-15 should have 2 bars here.
Yeah, I know, and I'm curious as to what he went for. Was it a CE? What is a soul attack?
What is anything, ever? What is a man? Nothing but a miserable pile of secrets.
Alright, gets this grab.
Ooh,
and again, whenever he's in
weapon.
axe mode, he is, you know, going with the offense, and Yin becomes super defensive.
See, this is the thing, is that he went for the axe low when it was just going to be a tip range, so this entire thing, frankly, I feel like he lost the round just off of that one situation, and that was because he got the tip range axe low, which then put him in a situation where Yin was on his feet, and AR-15 did not have a weapon. So he lost the entire game because of that, honestly. So, the axe pressure is good, but you gotta be careful as to how you're going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, and we are tied 7-7. I mean, these two have just been duking it out. And here comes that offense from AR, and he's just not letting up.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. No, it looks like just not enough. But at this point, AR15 basically needs anything, and yeah, it's going to be tough to beat an I-10 when all you need is that to kill. But yeah, Yin kind of falling apart when it comes to very like awkward, stilted pressure, which is something that AR15, as the set continues, is going a little bit south for him, where he's having a tough time figuring out how to deal with this pressure. He doesn't feel comfortable trying to punish or try to like get in there with like an AA or something like that. But meanwhile, AR15 feels totally comfortable poking in and out with a variety of different things. Ooh, nice hit. He's going to have to try and mitigate this soul charge as much as possible. No spending meter? You want to just save it for the next round? Oh no, a CE!
And again, you just made this point during the last set. The time, like, these two have been spending meter at the right time, but there are times where you're just like, why would you try to you know...
Yeah, it kind of blows my mind. I feel like it was supposed to be a soul charge. I feel comfortable enough giving him that credit. But yeah, if that was supposed to be a CE, that would have been a read and a half. Oh man, he keeps going for that full string. AR15 steps it every time.
Every time. Every single time. AR sitting on a bar, gonna pop it here. Makes sense.
I guess that duck. Some of this AGS pressure, frankly, has not really been all that successful. Nowhere near as successful as, for instance, AR-15's axe pressure, to be honest.
You know what it is? In the beginning, when these two were playing, he was not going for the low. And I've noticed during the last set in particular, he is consistently throwing out the low. And it landed the first few times, but clearly AR has made the adjustment. And that's why it seems like the pressure is not really working, because he's not... I feel like Yin is not mixing it up enough with the AG pressure. I haven't seen a grab out of it. You know, he's not going forward and going back or going forward and going up. You know, he's just not doing... There's so much ways you can mix up her AG stance pressure, and he's not really doing that. He's just picking a path, and he's abusing it until AR makes the adjustment. Which, I mean, I guess that's fine, but... You know, the low one in particular is really punishable. So.
Oh man, he got the duck on the first hit and then he didn't continue on with the second one. But I gotta say, I cannot think of a better stage for wackadoo shenanigans to happen than a stage like this for these two characters. So I'm really... I don't know how it's going to pan out, but something tells me we're going to see 2-2B ridiculousness, we're going to see 2B soul charge ridiculousness. It's going to be a matter of trying to mitigate this soul charge. Yeah, you can see him automatically going for that 2-2B.
So I wonder, what is the appropriate response when you block Aswell's soul attack?
Well, it's not unsafe. It's just a slight frame disadvantage, and it kind of depends. So we're talking about Soul Caliber as the soul attack. That's something that draws you in at a slight frame disadvantage, so frankly, you can probably just try to challenge him in that way. If it's Soul Edge, which is the second soul attack that can come out, then the pushback is big enough to where you kind of just have to eat it for the most part. Taunt into more spear shenanigans. It doesn't end up panning out. Immediately into soul attack, which whiffs, but gets him into AGS pressure again. Does he end up killing out of this? He does. Does he taunt back?
Yes.
No, okay.
And just like I said, what allowed him to really get that sequence going is he did the AG stance forward, and then he just canceled into the back of it. And AR completely whiffed. So, I mean, that's what I'd like to see more of Yin doing. Put AR on defense with the AG pressure. Then again, that's really hard to do because AR does press a lot of buttons when he's ready to.
That's true. So what do we got? Is that 9-7 at this point? That's what I have. AR-15, one game away from sealing this away. Very, very close games overall.
Ooh.
Oh no, I think that's right. No, it's not. It's going to go the other way. Yeah, the 1A follow-up is going to go the other direction. Alright, gets a punish there. Man, so many weird interactions with sidesteps, and yet
so
the whiff punishing is just not panning out for them. Gets that spear uppercut. AR15 feeling himself.
Is he gonna go back into pressure? No, he's gonna keep the distance a little bit.
Oh man, that still caught his sidestep. That sucks. Looks like he really tried to sidestep that spear uppercut.
Right, AR gonna soul charge, put an end to whatever AG pressure he tried, and eats a CE.
So once again, it seems that Yin really has that kind of thing on lock. Going for the pinwheel pressure in that situation just does not seem to really work out. But he does have a bit of soul charge still left. Okay, so it doesn't end up mattering. So we go to 1-on-1 where nobody has any meter. Come to think of it, I just realized that this stage effectively proves that AR15 is going to be guaranteed to get a weapon right off the bat just because of how big the change is with regards to the distance.
Yeah.
Oh man. Immediately puts him into a ring up position, takes that opportunity rather than going for the block punishment to try and just get out of the bad stage positioning. I respect that.
Oh, nice sidestep. Still gets hit with the axe low. And here comes that axe pressure.
And going for that AA punish. I guess he doesn't really feel comfortable trying to go for anything else, even though that is pretty punishable. Still doesn't have any meter of his own, so he can't really get out of this situation as well as he wants. Now he does have a bar. Is he going to try and steal this round? That's a massive punish there. He may be able to steal this round even without using meter. Ooh, shot him in the face.
That was nice.
Gonna have to deal with this red guard gauge potentially, but so far, nice shot yet again. So this is the first time, so remember how I said like basically anytime AR15 has had the ability to start with a soul attack, he does? This is the first time we've been on a stage where the starting positions are so far away to where Yin does not have to block it immediately. So, very interesting interaction there that I think could have only happened on this stage and this stage alone. And Yin is just kind of like playing in this ultra lane game all of a sudden and punishing as heavily as possible from across the screen. A very 2B specific kind of thing. Oh yeah. I mean, he's going to spend bar here, which effectively means that AR15 is going to have... He's probably going to have 2 bars by the end of the game, or by the end of... Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the rounds were reversed. He will not have any meter because we're going to be starting the next game. That's what's going to happen. 9-8. I got my rounds on each character's mixed up.
Yeah, that was such good... And I feel like that is the best we've seen from Yin so far. I mean, just playing that Lin game, particularly on this stage, like you said.
Oh, no. Try to get that whip punish.
Just the way he was just avoiding so much of what AR was trying to put out. And whip punishing accordingly, but it looks like AR is going to keep the pressure going. No duck on the second hit of him.
Yeah, he hasn't really been doing that like at any point. So unfortunately, it's just a piece of as well counter matchup knowledge that he may not necessarily have. He ends up getting the parry. Man, one thing that AR15 always goes for is the axe low in those kinds of weird situations where they're very close up against each other, and Yin immediately goes for a sidestep to try and get away from verticals as opposed to worrying about the axe low. I feel like if you were to switch up and be worried about the axe low more often, it would work out. But man, what a punish on that weird AGS situation. Yeah, that's a break attack. You're not going to be able to GI that.
Yeah, the answer would be to duck in that situation, but went for a GI instead. And here we go, soul attack. I'm not sure about using it to close out the round, but I guess it's because he's going to build a bar anyway.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to winning your second round, because that effectively means that you're going to get a bonus bar at the end of the game where it comes to that, you might as well just spend the bar to try and get it. So, is he going to get a win out here? No, right?
No, not at all. He's way too far off now. He might get put in a really good position. See, there goes the reset.
So he ends up just getting... Wow, that did not do as much damage as I thought it would. Oh no, is that how it ends? Oh, yes, that sucks. Oh, man.
You hate to see it.
Well, that was a really close set, but it is important to note that there were a little bit of stage selection shenanigans that ended up happening, and there was a little bit of button select that ended up being a problem. So, a very close set, and GG's to both. That being said, I'd be very curious to see what happens to these guys in a tournament setting. I'd be very curious to see, I hope that YinCrescent considers the concept of going into things like NLBC, which I think AR15 enters as well, and they might run into each other later on, where people wouldn't be as loosey-goosey with the rules just due to the fact that it's just like a first to 10 exhibition and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I would be quite interested to see what happens in a first to 2, because in that case, Yin kind of dominated with some of like the initial interactions that he was having with ducking away from some of the like high strings and getting a huge amount of damage on some of that. So honestly, it could go either way for the second set.